I'm so happy to be here with all of you today. So many old friends that I've met over the years coming to this wonderful event and the opportunity to meet so many new ones. I teach at Texas State University, which is just 30 miles south down the road. And we have a number of Texas State students and faculty here. So if you can hear them, if you have a chance to meet them, definitely say hello to them. So I'm really happy to talk with you today. Okay, now we have, I'm loud, I don't really need a microphone, but about managing digital products in a newsroom context. And I should say, I lead our Media Innovation Lab, brand new opportunity that we started this year, as well as a brand new program in digital media innovation in our program at Texas State. And so I started thinking about this topic almost 2 years ago. I started having students who would go out into the world and become product managers, in some cases at technology companies. And then I started seeing digital products coming up across media organizations. And as I started talking to these former students about what they did, I began to realize that these were skills that media organizations need to have with some adjustments, because how are we going to ensure that the journalistic ethics get into the digital products that are created if people with technology backgrounds are the ones that are creating them? How do the journalistic ethics, the values, and the sensibilities get built into media products? For 2016, I projected in the Neiman Lab predictions that they do, so shout out to Josh Benton in the Neiman Lab, product management is the new journalism. And I really love those predictions because it really gives a chance for some new provocative ideas to get out there. And that is exactly what I posited, is if we have these digital media products, how are we going to make them journalistic, and how are we going to assure that the technology resources are responsible for what they're creating? And now that we've got this sort of fake news and authenticity issue in the environment, it becomes all the more important. In that same issue of predictions, unbeknownst to me, we did not collaborate on this, but Bert Herman, who's the founder of Storify and Hacks Hackers, and now he's the founder of LenFest, he also said the new hot job was going to be product management. And he defined it as the editorial and business coming together to create better products, stealing a page from Silicon Valley's handbook. So technology meets journalism. And just as Karen was saying, that marketing, there's a marketing language, there's a technology language now that we have to understand in journalism. So shortly after that, the American Press Institute put out a report where they interviewed a lot of people that were in this product management role, and they defined the role as one of control and creating projects that are specifically targeted to succeed, so they need to have strategy associated with them, and they need to deliver a satisfying experience to the users. And then also, about January of last year, the New School in CUNY convened a group of product managers, and there was an online version that they had a talk with several people, one of which is Aaron Pilhofer. Is Aaron here yet? He's coming. He'll be here tomorrow. He's up there. Hey, Aaron. Oh. So in that talk, he said it was a few years in that it dawned on me that I was actually running a product development team, as he was running the New York Times Interactive News Technology Group that was making all these really cool digital journalism projects. I'm running a product development team. I need to figure out what the aspects of that are for a media organization. So in my research, I talked to 14 different people who were in product management roles, kept everybody anonymous. They come from places like New York Times, BuzzFeed, ProPublica, NPR, here in Austin at the Texas Tribune, the Statesman. So they cover a wide range of media organizations, and they were all doing some form of product development. And so in terms of defining what is a media product, one of the comments was, we used to know what a media product was. It was a newspaper or it was a TV broadcast. Now it's much broader. And so I kind of put together this idea that in most cases it's an audience-centric mission that provides opportunities for a number of constituents to participate, contribute, and interact with the media, and it often composes now the primary platform that people engage with and consume journalism. And so here's some examples. We have Dollars for Docs from ProPublica. Texas Tribune has their Schools Explorer and many other really great projects. New York Times did that cool quiz that you would take about your language patterns, and then it mapped it on a chart. So these are more sort of data visualization, data journalism projects. But then there are also lots of other tools and digital products that are being made across all types of organizations. The cooking app at New York Times, The Statesman does the Hook'em app that has specifically for sports around the University of Texas, so Hook'em, because I did my PhD here. And then we have things like the Purple Politics bot and Quartz. I mean, there's any number of things that you can go online and see that they are very interactive projects. So then I looked at the process, and these are quotes that came from the people who I interviewed, and there are a lot more quotes in the final paper if you go online. But the process, like many things, it depends. It depends on the size and the scope, but it's really boils down to what company leadership thinks and how it goes across product, editorial, and revenue. All these different areas have to be represented. And then it also depends on, is this like a back-end infrastructure type thing or an audience-facing product? If it's primarily editorial, then all the people associated with editorial have to be responsible for it, and quite often the editor and the publisher make decisions that are based on strategic priorities. So strategy is something that kept coming up in the discussions that I had. Problem solving. I mean, this is something that we try to teach students in our program. You're going to go out into the world and your job is going to be to solve problems. And that's mainly what a product manager does. They have to figure out solutions to problems, how to iterate and move fast in a digital environment. Collaboration is also a very key role that a product manager has to demonstrate. They have to work across a lot of different teams. They have to facilitate the conversations across the team and then reconcile, again, across all these different functions, business, marketing, strategy, editorial, but also be very user-focused. And that brings up this idea of empathy. Obviously, data and analytics are very important in a digital product environment. Everything we do is data informed, said one of my respondents. And they look very closely at analytics platforms. They also, one of the subjects even said, beyond just data-based analytics, they want to see real outcomes of their products. Did it change some sort of legislation? Did people's lives change because they were able to use this product? So this gets into a much more specific area of data and analytics and proving the value of digital products. That is something that has to be catered to in this environment where we're making them in journalistic organizations. Obviously, storytelling can be a very important part, so there's still a story. In many cases, these products have leads. They're visual stories, but they want the user to be able to use their own examples to be able to help them make the story more meaningful and personal for them. So in terms of the skills that people identified that a product manager needs, you have to be a great communicator. You have to have empathy and understand your audience. You have to be a good leader because you have to lead a lot of different organizations and lead people from those organizations. You have to be able to collaborate across them. And then the last one was technical proficiency. So quite often we think of product development people as technologists, but really you do have to have tech savvy. You do have to understand the tech environment, but the technical proficiency is the last on this list. It says, we hire people that have strong user focus, they understand business, collaborations, they're leaders, they make decisions. None of that really says anything about technology skills specifically. So if we talk about technology proficiency, it's a broad range of what people need. Technology proficiency, design aesthetic, user interface. But one person said, I think there's a much closer fit with entrepreneurship, business, and design than there even is with computer science. So we have to really think about the backgrounds of the people that we bring into these roles. And then finally, my interest in this is I want students to go out into the world and get these jobs. I want them to become product managers. Maybe not necessarily a first job out of college, but I want them to kind of envision themselves moving into these roles where they have strong communication skills, leadership and strategic emphasis, and some attention to being able to understand technological proficiency. And then one of the things that one of the respondents said was the importance of experiential learning, making sure that you would put students in a situation as they would be on a professional team, that they would be actually working in an environment very much like our SXTX State project, which for the past 10 years we've sent students to South by Southwest. The students have run an entire digital product and a social media strategy around it that gives them actual experience in doing these kind of things. So to wrap things up, just in time, As digital products mature, I think product management is going to need to become more central to the organization and become a core process and not be considered a sideline, a technological sideline. I think again, it's what we do. Product management is the new journalism. And this is a career opportunity for students in our field to be able to integrate tech-savvy leadership and their strong communication skills. There are a lot more anecdotes and quotes in the paper, and I'll be happy to take your questions during the Q&A. Thank you very much.